Hello, how are you all doing? It's a chilly March evening, guys. It's the last March evening for me in terms of streaming, I think. How are you all doing? We got a really special show tonight. It was on Monday, the 22nd. It was the 25th anniversary since the release of the original Resident Evil on PlayStation, Saturn and PC. I think the PC version might come a little bit later, but hey, let's not worry too much about that. So we've got a jam-packed show full of Resident Evil guests. We've got an interview with an expert of the series. We've got it's got to be one of the world's best Resident Evil collections we're going to see later on. That's amazing. We've got some retrospectives, got other bits and pieces, and of course we've got all the usual news and all the other bits and pieces you'd expect from the show. So let's get cracking. So just before we get on to all the Resident Evil stuff, have you bought a new item for your collection? Have you some new news that you want to share with me? Maybe you just want to say hello. contact@retrofaith.net. And for this special show, if you want to send in pictures of your Resident Evil collection, big or small, send them over to the web address contact@retrofaith.net, and I'll try and get as many up between the scenes as I can. But I hope you're doing well. I hope you strap yourselves in. We've got a bumper show here tonight. We've got 5 guests in total. Yes, 5 guests. There's a lot going on. There's an awful lot going on. But we're going to kick off again. Like normally, anyone that follows the show would know that we kick off with a tune. But we're not going to do that this time, because when I was listening back to the soundtrack of Resident Evil, it's a bit slow. It's a bit, there's not a lot going on there with the soundtrack, which is fine because it's like a mood setter. But don't worry, instead of doing that, we're going to get on our first guest. So hopefully our first guest is ready. And I'm just going to load up the Zoom call now and start that meeting. So, obviously released today, 22nd of March, for Resident Evil, PlayStation, Saturn and PC. I remember completing it on the Saturn. It was a good game. Yeah, I mean, I've got very fond memories of it. Let's join that. And it was quite magical. And I think it was quite hard, like, because it was a different sort of game. You know, there hadn't really been stuff like that before. So it was very different. So I'm hoping that my first guest is here. Aha! This is Ben. So we're going to say hello to Ben, who's going to be chatting to us about... Come on, Ben, you can do it. Come on, Ben. Can I hide myself there? Hide self view, that's it. Ben, are you there? Can you get your camera working? Live TV for you, hey? Live TV. Come on, Ben. Are you there? Are you there, Ben? Is he trying? We can see he's there. Hello, Tiger. How you doing? Hello, Gunblade. Hello, Sam. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Evening, Tiger. We're just hoping Ben can sort out his webcam. Is he there? Ben, are you there? Are you there, Ben? Are you there, Ben? Hello. Hello, Ben. Where are you, stranger? Come on. Don't be shy. Everyone wants to see you. Come on, we're dying to hear about your Resident Evil story. It's a good story. While Ben's working out Zoom, Ben did a great thing. You know, like the 25 days before Christmas, like an advent calendar sort of thing, and you pick out a new thing every day. Well, during the 25 days leading up to the 22nd of March, Ben did the 25 facts of Resident Evil, and they were really good, and he put them up in a group called Retro Realm, which is a Facebook group that's very popular with all the retro bods in the UK, and they were absolutely fascinating. I've got them all here, and we're flicking through them as we go. Just hoping that Ben can Ben, do you need a hand? Hello?
Hi Faith. Hi Faith, I think I'm on now.
You're on, right. You not got your camera on?
I haven't, no, I'm not very.
You're not doing a camera, no?
Okay.
All right, then I'll delete the camera. Don't worry, you don't have to have the camera. That's fine. There we go. Yeah, no, we all suffer with it. Let me move that out of the way. So Ben, how are you doing? Anyway, thanks for joining. I know it's a bit difficult sometimes when you're trying to get Zoom and things sorted out. How have you been?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. Pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, no, I'm wonderful. I've been really busy today getting this show together. So, yeah, you're the first guest. So, like, you know, first of all, I know you're a big fan of the series. So, happy 25th anniversary for Resident Evil. I suppose I just want to start off with what is it about Resident Evil that kind of draw you to it? What is it about the series that makes you go, oh, I like that?
Well, I've got to say, I mean, I think it was the first really cinematic game that I played. I mean, I was one of the generation that grew up on Sonic the Hedgehog, and so suddenly seeing this, not just a game with 3D graphics, but a game that was cinematic, that was exciting, thrilling, had you on the edge of your seat. It just blew me away. It gave me everything an action movie would have done, but I was in control.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I agree with that. It's definitely a thriller minute, and some of like the cutscenes and stuff. It was mind. I remember, I know it's easy to talk about, but that first time when you see a zombie and you walk around that corner and you're just like, whoa, when it goes to that little cutscene, and like, I'd never seen anything like that in a video game. Really, there'd been cutscenes before, but nothing quite like that. So tell us about what you did then. So I gave people a brief view there. Like, so obviously you're so enamoured with the series that you thought you'd put together 25 Resident Evil facts. Where did the idea come from?
Well, that was the thing. I had a look online and I saw people mentioned it here and there, or companies were talking about it coming up, and I just thought, I've been following this series most of my life. I thought there's got to be something interesting I can do for the fans, and I thought, hey, what about a countdown? Let's think of 25 things. So I watched every video I could. I've got books I've collected over the years, magazines. I was scouring everything, trying to find something interesting, and a few people had commented and said, how did you find 25 sort of unique facts? And it wasn't easy, but I just wanted to mark the event, really, something for the fans.
Yeah, well, no, it was fascinating. I mean, I tell you, I share your pain because when it was Sonic's 29th birthday last year, and I did a YouTube video on 29 Sonic facts. So yeah, I feel your pain of trying to squeeze that extra fact out of a game that's like, oh my god. And I was really like pulling, I was just like, stretching some of them a little bit. But no, good stuff. So I mean, I'm not going to go through all the facts because we'll be here all day. But what sort of facts would you like to give people while you're here? Like, is there like a few that you think the most interesting, the ones that you were surprised with yourself, possibly?
I guess. I mean, as someone who's played this series as long as I have, it's nice when you're surprised. It's nice when you find something you didn't know. And of course, there was the rumors about it starting off as a first-person game, a bit like House of the Dead, or some people have even mentioned it was going to be a dungeon crawler. So finding that one single concept image of a first-person style game was interesting, because of course a lot of people say, I've even seen magazines saying Resident Evil 7 was the first game to use first-person, and it wasn't. It wasn't. Dead Aim, Survivor, Gun Survivor 2, quite a few used first-person before, but to think it could have been done all the way back in 1996, you just wonder, would it have been the series that we know now? And of course, using the Alone in the Dark fixed camera angles really gave it this cinematic flair that I think was one of the reasons people jumped on it as well as they did.
I totally agree. Do you know what? Like, because I'm thinking that if the original Resident Evil had been a first-person game, I mean, let's just think back then in '96, we hadn't really worked out on consoles how to do 3D games in the sense of controlling them and stuff, and obviously Mario 64 sort of showed everyone how to do it. So yeah, I totally agree. If it had been a first-person game, it probably could have been a bit. It probably, I don't know. I mean, it might have worked, but I don't think you'd have got, like I say, that cinematic feel. And I think that's one of the themes that a lot of my guests are going to be bringing up, is that Resident Evil was like one of the very first games to really make you feel like you're doing something other than just running around, jumping and stuff like that. It actually gave you a sense of like emotion almost.
Absolutely, yeah, and that was the great thing about it, is of course it coined the term survival horror. There were fixed camera games, Alone in the Dark, as I said, but Alone in the Dark was a detective story, whereas Shinji Mikami got the idea of zombies from Night of the Living Dead. The game was meant to be a remake of the NES game Sweet Home from 1988, I think, but it slowly evolved into something else. And of course, that was the great thing about it, is it gave us all these survival horror staples that, in my opinion, were missing from Resident Evil 4 onwards. Because in Resident Evil 4, you had copious amounts of ammo. The puzzles were literally fight your way through this area, pick up a puzzle piece. Resident Evil 1 drops you in a gallery with loads of paintings and says, if you press the wrong switch, the crows will tear you apart. What are you going to do? And you had to keep stopping and thinking. Like, and I mean, in some games, I even had a notepad next to me, and I'll be writing down codes and clues, trying to figure things out. And I just think that's the thing that's been lacking recently, because they've tried to appeal to a more action mainstream audience with Resident Evil's 4 to 6. So 7 for me, I think, was kind of a return to the survival horror that the game started in 1996.
Brilliant. Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I tell you. Yeah, everyone keeps telling me I should play more of Resident Evil 4, so I'm definitely going to be giving that one a go on my stream.
Oh, it's a good game.
Yeah, no. Well, I'll tell you what, Ben. Like, thank you very much. I think you did a great thing there, and I know a lot of people sort of got a lot of. I know I certainly learned some stuff, and at the end of the day, it's my pleasure to always learn something. So, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. If anyone wants to see the entire fact file, I've got it saved on my computer. So if you just message me, I can put it in a zip and email it back to you. Because there's a lot of work went into this from Ben, and as you can see, as it's flicking through, there's lots of information there and nice pictures. So, well, Ben, thank you very much. Thanks for coming on, and I know you've been a bit busy, but that's a lovely way to kick off the show. And hopefully you can stick around and watch some more. We got plenty more Resi action to come. So thank you very much, Ben. Round of applause from me, and you can come on the show again. You're a friend of the show now.
Thanks very much, Faith. Have a good night.
You too. I'll see you later. Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye.
Well, how good was that, guys, to start off the show? Now, I'm going to be going straight into the news in a little while, but I'm just gonna get me next to make sure that my Zoom's playing up a little bit here. I don't know if it's my problem. Oh, let's go back to me Zoom. Sorry, guys, just get me Zoom set up for the next one. But yeah, so fascinating. So yeah, 25 facts. It's harder to think about doing that with a game than you would actually imagine. One of the things that I've noticed being a journalist and trying to do things like that is the amount of time you have to try and make stuff up. But no, I'm only messing around. Let's get on to the news then. We have our regular news hound on the beat. My good friend Sam, who you will know from our Fantasy Star evenings, and he's got a roundup of the news. And we've got quite a lot on the news today. Guys. Look, I've got a whole sheet of paper here. Are you there, Sam?
Hey.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Brilliant. How good was that? Did you enjoy the 25 Resident Evil facts?
Yeah, that was interesting. There's a lot of facts there I didn't actually know.
No, I didn't know either. I mean, I would, if at the end of the show, I might be able to go through a lot more of it. But obviously, I'm packed for time. I've got so many guests coming in. So, have you been enjoying the festivities, Resident Evil, for the 25th? What's your memories of the game, Sam?
Well, Resident Evil, it's a series that I'm not overly familiar with. I've played some of the series, but not all of them, despite owning quite a few of the formats. But yeah, I kind of got into it with the remake on the GameCube.
Okay,
when they remade it.
Yeah.
It was because the original PlayStation version, I don't really have a great recollection of it. But the GameCube version, when they introduced all the Crimson Head zombies and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Right then. On with the news. Oh, look, they look like Pikmin. What's this all about? Why is Pikmin? Is Pikmin back?
Sort of. This is a new partnership between Nintendo and Niantic. So they're going to be developing a Pikmin app. So details are scarce, but it looks like this is going to be the first new game of the new partnership. So obviously you'll know that Niantic they were responsible for Pokemon Go.
Pokemon
so
Go.
That
Pikmin
was
Go. Gunblade's coming in there.
That could be.
Ooh, imagine that. Trying to going around your building in your work, like flicking your phone at stuff, like in the office again. I remember seeing people do that on the Pokemon Go, and I was like, Joe, this is good. This is good, but yeah, maybe it's taking video games a bit too far. But I can see, okay, so it's the same guys who did that very successful Pokemon Go, so we can expect this to be very successful as well. With no Pikmin's not quite as big a series, is it?
No, I'd say it's relatively obscure in comparison to Pokemon. Obviously, Pokemon sold so many copies over the years, whereas Pikmin seems to be relatively obscure. But Pikmin 3, I believe on the Switch, that was probably the biggest selling Pikmin game. But yeah, I think with this, they're probably going to use augmented reality, so you'll probably be seeing Pikmin popping up everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, very
so
good.
That kind of thing.
Okay, so we've got a new Pikmin game coming on that. Oh, I know this. This is Astro Arcade. Oh, wow. So, big new Sega fans. So, y'all get excited with this Sega news. Yeah, so I'll just quickly run this one off. So, limited run games, or I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say it, limited fun games. We'll talk about limited run another time, guys. Limited fun games. £94 though. I got the price at £130, Tiger. So where did you get that? I got that. Okay, so there's a clash there. So Tiger's saying it's £94. I got a price of £130, and it's the pre-releases go up on the 26th. Sorry, not the pre-releases. The pre-orders go up on the 26th of March. So next tomorrow, basically, and it's limited to 3,500, being released in Europe or America or wherever that's going to be. So I don't know about this. I mean, I don't mind these mini consoles. I'm not against them. I just think for the money, sometimes they're a bit silly. But apparently people like this. That's the final price. Yeah, if that is the final price, that's what it said.
Yeah.
That's what it said on the news. Whether that is. What about you, Sam? Is this sort of thing you'd pick up? Did you get one originally from Japan when they were released?
Well, I was going to say, interestingly, on our forum, Dean on our forums, he's actually got one in from Japan, and he posted some early views on it, and some quite positive impressions. Decent build quality. It's all Sanwa arcade parts and whatnot. He says the emulations are very solid, and there's very few anomalies with the sound and the glitches. A few here and there, but overall, it's pretty solid. I think he averaged out the price. It's about £3 odd per game.
That's not too bad, I suppose. I mean, when you think about how much it is to download a game, £3 per game. I mean, I like these minis. I mean, I don't own many of them. I randomly got a PlayStation Mini because it was like £10 on Amazon or something. So I thought that would be rude not to. I don't have the Mega Drive one yet. I don't have any of the SNES or NES ones or PC. I don't have any of them. I just look at them and think, I like it. But is it just a nice thing to have? It's just screaming at the collector in me rather than I actually need this. So I personally probably won't be going for it, but I will look forward to seeing more reviews. Yeah, I've heard good things as well. A few people on the Sega sites that I'm on said that they enjoyed them and they got them through. But yeah, so that's some Sega news there, guys. So that's from Limited Run from tomorrow. If you fancy bagging a European or potentially USA version of the Astro City there, I think hopefully it sells well and continues Sega on. So fair's fair. Oh, I put the wrong thing on, didn't I? Hang on, that gone. News 2. What have I turned on there? Turned on something in the background. Ah, there we go. Rising Hell. Is that our next one? That is our next one, isn't it? Rising Hell. This is a new game, is it, Sam, on the Switch?
Yeah, I thought this looked interesting. I was just perusing through all the new releases that are coming out. And what you've got here with Rising Hell is a vertical platformer with a unique retro style to it. So I think it's kind of like a roguelike game as well. But I think with the aim is, because of the theme, Rising Hell, you're then trying to then ascend from hell. But it says here in the key features, it's a vertical roguelike. Climb out of the ever-changing procedurally generated hell while the ever-present threat of permadeath fills your veins with adrenaline.
Oh, so it's a bit like Dead Cells or something like that, where you just got to keep getting as far as you can on one life.
But it had some interesting boss battles. There was a trailer for it, and it looked quite good potentially. And you got unlockable characters and whatnot. So yeah, it could be one to watch.
Do we know who's releasing it? Oh, go on.
I think it's coming out in May. That's all. That's all I know about it at the minute. Details quite scarce, but yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah, no, I like those kind of games. I played a lot of that Dead Cells and Axiom. Well, Axiom Verge is more like a Metroidvania, but those kind of games, those kind of like modern pixelated games that run really fast and have loads of stuff going on and big levels and stuff. See, I'm always interested in those, so I'll probably be having a look at that.
Got a heavy metal soundtrack as well.
Oh wow, even better then. Gotta be bought then. Excellent. So where can that one's out about May? Sorry, did you manage to pick up who's developing it? Sorry, did I miss that?
No, I didn't pick that up. But I mean, it looks like a reasonably competent developer. I think they've produced a few games before.
Yeah. Okay, it's not their first game. Not their first rodeo. Nice. Very good. Right, and I believe we had another. Now, this is an update to a game that's already out, isn't it? There's an expansion.
Yeah, so you had, I think, Ion Fury. I put out that it was recently released. I think that was for the Switch version, because that's more recent than the other versions. But it's been out for over a year or so, but it's still recent for the Switch. But this is a full expansion which is coming this summer. It's interesting because the game's originally developed off the same engine that made Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
So it's like that, but it's a brand new game, and they really pushed the limits for the game originally.
What sort of game is it?
So it's like an old school first person shooter. But if you remember what Duke Nukem was like, imagine that, but in a more I don't know, kind of like futuristic type setting.
Oh, very good, very good. Just to quickly go back on the last news item there, Gunblade says Rising Hell is by Tahoe Games.
Nice.
Moved on to the next game. No, Gunblade, that's good. That's
a good grab.
It's always nice. It's always nice just to make sure we're doing everything we need to do. So that's Iron Fury. So when the expansion? It just says, do we know when that's out, or is it? I'll take it it's the same team who developed the game.
All it says is it's just coming this summer.
Okay, no news on what the update actually is, or anything like new levels or.
Oh yeah, there's a few new details. There will be new areas, but probably what's most interesting is obviously you've got all the weapons, everything that were in the original game, but there seem to be some new mechanics which looked almost vehicle based, like somewhere in between vehicle and weapon sections. So yeah, I think it'll be worth checking out. And there's also a brand new arrange mode. So that's potentially interesting if you've already played the game before.
Yeah, I like it when games do that, when they mix up the original levels and stuff. Well, okay then, that looks. I mean, I have to be honest, I haven't seen the original game yet. So hopefully, when the expansion comes out, they do like a pack or something with it all together, and I can have a look. Good. Right then, that's that one. What's near? Oh, Andstream. This is one for me, isn't it? So, Andstream. You guys know I play that occasionally on my stream, and I'm sort of sometimes working. So, Andstream have released or will be releasing some news imminently, start of April. So, anyone that's sort of kept up with Andstream recently knows that it's been free for a couple of months, like pretty much free across the board for the last few months, but which is great because there's like thousands of games on there to stream completely and utterly legally. Now, Andstream are going to be moving to what I would call like a YouTube style platform soon. So it will still be the same. You'll still have all your games that you can just sit there and stream and play and the rest of it. But there's now two membership options. You can have the free membership option, which like YouTube and Twitch and platforms like this, you'll have to watch an advert. I would imagine adverts between games. Now, whether or not that'll be every game, I don't know. But you won't have to pay any money. You just got to watch the advert. So that's the trade-off. Or if you play Andstream a lot and you don't want the adverts, you can still just keep your monthly subscription going. So I think that's great news because I know in this day and age there's so many different things to pay for with Netflix and all Amazon's and Xbox Live and all these different things to pay for. Having another one that you might want, like on demand, like Andstream, is just another cost. So having it in a YouTube or Twitch way where it is free to access, you've just got to have adverts and stuff, I think it's absolutely fine. So yeah, that's just some little bit of news there. They've got lots of new games coming out as well. They've been a bit slow on news while they've been implementing, so that's from April. So April, if you're a regular Andstream user and been using it for free the last couple of months, you will get adverts from the 1st of April, or if you don't want to have the adverts, you've got to pay for it. But that's that one. And I think we've got some more Nintendo news. I really need to get my glasses on. Where's that? That's gone. Oh man, no, wrong one. We seem to have no, not that one. Where's the one I want? Not that one. I'm getting lost, guys. I'm getting lost. Where's my last one? Oh, did I accidentally go over it? Oh, Sam, I think sadly I've accidentally gone over the last one, which was Smash Brothers, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, do you want to just tell us about Smash Brothers quickly? Lucky it's not some big news, is it?
Yeah, sure. No, what it is I think every week since the original Smash Bros. Game was released, I think, well, quite a while ago now, they've had tournaments of different themes. And this week it's a Kirby themed tournament.
Oh,
so I
very
guess that'll
good.
focus on, with Kirby's moveset, obviously you can absorb the abilities of other characters. So I think there's lots of interesting potential there. Because, with all the characters they've added, even recently, you get to see a lot of different transformations for Kirby.
Yeah.
And
well, that'd be good, yeah.
He's just quite an interesting character anyway, because he's, he's definitely retro.
I can see with the Smash Brothers bit, like Kirby's like Fulgor from Killer Instinct, where he just morphs into all the characters and stuff. That would be cool. And Spinal does a bit of that as well at times. Very good, very good. So we've got, luckily that wasn't big right now. And then there's the new podcast that you guys seem to be doing a podcast every week at the moment. Is that the case? Is that what you're aiming for, or?
Well, that's the thing. Yes, we were doing a podcast every week up until recently. Because episode 69 of Any Cafe is going to be the last one for a little while.
Oh no.
Basically, the guys go take a break, but they've been working like non-stop every week on it, because every week they'd get together and talk about games. So you got Lee, who hosts the podcast, and Greg and Nick, and Dennis would always upload each episode to the YouTube channel. So obviously very, very grateful for the work they put into it, because they'd always come up with something interesting every week. And being that even on a slow news week, any news that's not on the site, there's usually a fair bit of news on the podcast. But this week there was a good bit about Turok 2, because last week
there was
it was
Turok
about
1. Is that the remake again? So Turok 2's getting a proper remake as well.
Yeah, so Turok 2, I mean, they're all been out for a while, but again, it's more recent on the on the Switch.
On the Switch.
But the other thing was the main topic was the top 50 highest grossing video game franchises. So there was a whole like a quiz on there, and there's some quite surprising answers in there. Obviously, you've got the usual games which you kind of expect, but if you want to find out, obviously, check out the podcast. But some surprising,
there's some real random ones in there, like that you think, wow, how does that get so much money to it? But it's probably one of those games where like all the kids want all the time. So you don't, if you're sort of a bit more adult, you don't really notice what the kids are playing a lot of the time. And sometimes it's things like Minecraft and that. It's like the biggest selling game or something, isn't it, of all time? And it's just like, this is insane. When you actually look at the numbers, and Minecraft's like number one, you're like, I've never even played Minecraft, let alone thought of it as being a big selling game. But yeah, it's crazy. All right then, well, that's great. I think just one more bit of news before we say goodbye to Sam, and this is a rumour. So it's a new part of the news section, a new part of the news section, rather than just going to do rumours. So PlayStation Store apparently is a rumour. So I'm going to make that very clear. I should have slapped rumour across it. This isn't official news from Sony, but apparently the PlayStation Store, PSN Store, is set to close. So that includes anything from the PS3 back, which I think includes the Vita as well. Definitely the PSP, if that's still going. So some people have said the problem with that is if it does just close the whole thing down, a lot of the games that you've downloaded won't work because they're associated. They have to log on to the PSN store to download your achievements and stuff. So I'm hoping if this is true, I'm hoping that they're able to do some sort of patch for it, which unlinks all the games from an account on PSN store. Otherwise, a lot of people might be getting very, very annoyed at I'd be annoyed because I haven't got much on PSN Store, but I know I've got a PlayStation 3 that I've downloaded games onto that I've paid for. And if I loaded that up and I couldn't play those, I'd be quite annoyed, I think. England 5-0 up. Wow. That's against, is it Faroe Islands? Someone like that, isn't it? Go England. Right, yeah, so that look out for that, guys. So maybe San Marino. So maybe if you do have lots of games, maybe it's worth trying to download them onto modern systems like PS4 and stuff if they work for that. So, but that's a bit of rumour. So, Sam, have you got a PSN? Have you got a PlayStation? Haven't you? Are you worried about this?
Well, I'd only recently found out about it, but I've been thinking about it. It's kind of like a similar situation to when Nintendo obviously had to shut down some of the storefronts, from Nintendo Wii and whatnot. So I can imagine it being, kind of a similar setup there. You kind of get a cut-off date, to download everything. But with it being Sony, perhaps there might be a way that, say if you've actually bought something, because it's all still on the PlayStation Network, if they could have some kind of backup on there, maybe for a game that you've already purchased, so there's some way that you can still download it. Because otherwise, I think the PSN affects quite a few more games than on the Wii. I mean, the Wii had quite a few, but PlayStation Network, I can't even begin to think of all the games that are on there. You're talking like PSP, Vita, and PS3, I would have thought.
It's quite a lot, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, no, yeah. So people, I think that's more of a heed the warning kind of situation. But Sam, did you want to stick on and stay on board and help me do this interview with Alex Taylor from evilresource.com, who's going to be our series expert coming on? Because I know that you obviously write for a website, and I know you'd probably have some interesting questions to ask as well. So did you want to stick on the call, or have you got to run off or do anything?
Yeah, sure. No, I'd love to be part of the interview.
Brilliant. So let me get our next guest on, guys. Right, and just before I do that, I'm going to a little musical interlude. Obviously, it would be rude. Normally, we do This Day in Gaming. So I do This Day in Gaming normally on the radio show. But obviously, because it's a Resident Evil special, everything's got to be Resident Evil based. Fair enough. So I'm going to go and grab my first guest and get them out of the green room all set up while you guys listen to this very quick musical interlude from the original game soundtrack. And the composer was Makoto Tomozawa. Stay tuned for our guest interview. Be about a minute. There we go. Hello. Here we go. Hello. Welcome, Alex Taylor. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us. This is our first sort of guest speaker who's going to be telling us all about a wonderful evilresource.com. Now, before we get into showing the website and stuff, we're obviously going to chat to Alex about it. So, Alex, can we just get a sound check there, please?
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. And Sam, are you still there?
Oh, yeah.
You're still there as well. Right, brilliant. So this is Alex Taylor. And I found Alex, when I started putting together this radio show, I wanted someone that was like seemed to be like a mega fan. And I stumbled across this website called evilresource.com, which I was just on it for a while. Just it's loads. It's like Resident Evil database galore. And luckily for us today, Alex said that he would come on board. And Alex, so you're the webmaster. Is that right? Is that the correct phrase, or how would you?
Yes, I would say that's quite accurate. Yes.
Brilliant. So, just before we get started, then, did you want to tell us a little bit about the site? Just give us a rundown, and I'll try and get a link for it in there while we can.
Absolutely. So yeah, back when I was sort of growing up, basically, I had a bit of a passion about playing games, but whilst I was playing them, I would be recording like the data associated with it, writing my own walkthroughs, mapping things out, just basically logging everything. I've still got like reams and reams of paper of Final Fantasy VII, like enemies and what they drop when you kill them, and what you get when you morph them, steal from them, etc. It's just I had this weird obsession with just doing that, and Resident Evil, it was a game where I came across when I was growing up. I used to go to this game store with my friends after school, and one day they had this PlayStation set up and had Resident Evil on it, and I'd never come across it before. It was a brand new game, so started playing it, didn't know what I was doing. Got to the bit with the first zombie and panicked, obviously. If I remember distinctly, running around in circles, backing into it, getting eaten, and then dying. And after that, I was just hooked. I knew I had to replay this game and just master it basically. So I started playing it and just started doing my usual thing of jotting down where I found the enemies and whatnot. And I eventually became a web developer. That's my day job. So I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity for me to get all this data that I've gathered and just publish it on the web. I wasn't expecting anybody to really use it or look at it. It was just for my benefit more than anything. And Yeah, I slowly built it up. You know, because I don't know if you remember, like back in the sort of mid noughties, there were tons of Resident Evil sites out there. Like the community was just buzzing with Resident Evil sites.
I do remember.
It's like I had like Resident Evil Fan, Evil Unleashed, RE Horror, Resident Evil Network. There were just tons of them. They were absolutely incredible sites. And I thought, how could mine compare to these? So I was thinking, what angle could I have it? And that's what I thought. Well, none of them really offer these interactive maps that I thought about developing. So that was like the angle that I wanted to take with Evil Resource. Is to present all this data, the raw data of the games, like your weapons and your items and your enemies, and transpose them onto the maps, so you can see exactly where you encounter the enemies and how well those necessary herbs are to pick up and use. And I suppose the rest is history. I've just been building it up as I've been going, really.
All right, then we're going to take a look at the site in a minute. I'm going to get it up on screen so we can all see. But just what about, is it about Resident Evil for you then? Forgetting doing like a whole website and everything. What is it about Resident Evil for you as a gamer, or as a person even, that makes you want to put that much effort into something?
Well, for me, it's because I know when your first guest Ben, you sort of covered that was sort of like the defining game that for survival horror. But obviously, went on to say that it's so much more than that. It's survival horror. So you've got your claustrophobic environments. You've got your limited resources to use. You can't always fight every single enemy. You have to take flight sometimes. But then layered in with that are these fantastic puzzles, especially in some of the earlier games, that you got to a place where you were just stuck. You had to like examine the environment and work out what it is you had to do in order to be able to get to the next part of the game. So it was. I mean, I love puzzle problem solving, which is one of the reasons why I'm a developer. But putting that into a game, combined with like my favorite movie genre, which is essentially zombie horror, it was just the perfect fit for me. In gaming form. So I just absolutely adored it from the get-go, basically.
Wow, yeah. Well, no, that's very, very passionate. Like, hopefully this works. If I do this, hopefully this works first time. If I just do this very quickly. Ah, look at that. All right, let me make you slightly smaller again. Sorry about this. You're gonna disappear for a bit. There you go. Let's have a look at the website then. So, is this the right one? Yeah.
That's the one. Yep.
That's the one. Right, sorry, because I'm trying to click on multiple things at the same time. Guys, can you see that on the screen? Can I make it bigger? Can I make... There, oh, look at that. I can make it super big. Right, so this is the website I found, basically, because I typed in something like Resident Evil crazy people or something like that. I didn't really, I'm only joking. But this is one that... But I love that. I mean, I'm not... I've got my own website. I'm not a web developer, but this looks really clean. So... let's have a quick look through. So have you got like almost like walkthroughs of every single Resident Evil game here?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I didn't want to go down the walkthrough route particularly,
it's
like
actually
having
right.
like a proper guide, because some of the other sites do that so well. Like I don't want to tread on anybody else's toes, so I left the walkthroughs to sort of those other sites. What this sort of my site is the focus of it is, I always like to use the example of, say you're stuck in a particular room, or you have a particular item and you don't really know what it is. You could go to a walkthrough and just sort of try and find where you're up to. Or you could go to here and say, okay, just go to the items list, find the item you've got, and then it'll give you a description of how you use it, where you use it, that kind of thing.
I'm just looking, do you know what? This is like me with variants with Sonic. I'm not going to sidetrack the entire stream with Sonic, but this is like what I do with Sonic, like all the different releases, the countries they came out in, all that sort of stuff. This is insane. I love the detail here. This is absolutely amazing. So can we go further into any of these? Right, how do we, where do we have to go? So what's the remake one? That's the new one, isn't it?
That's the original one. So the remake is, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. Wow. How do I get further into it then? How do I go? Do I have to go here?
If you use
maps. Here we go. Yeah.
Right-hand navigation.
Yeah. Whoa! This is insane. This is insane. You've done this for every single Resident Evil game. This is dedication to a series. Has this ever got to a point where you're like, what am I doing with my life?
Oh yeah.
No, I'm only messing around. Sorry, I have a bad sense of humour. This is really good, and I love all the details as well. Like I know you said you didn't want to do like a walkthrough, but this is essentially just showing everyone all the where they need to go, isn't it? Basically, this is insane. All the maps for the original Resident Evil.
So you can you can obviously go into like a particular map and then click on one of the rooms, and it'll give you like a list of all the contents within that room and a brief description and things like that.
I didn't even see that. Whoa, this is mind blowing. This is insane. I'm really, do you know what? I'm enjoying this. Right, so we could just explore every Resident Evil game without having to play it. Look, this is insane. Guys, how good is this? You can all see it on the stream, yeah? You get all the details and stuff. This is insane. So it tells you...
You can click through and obviously see where, like if you click the shells and view detail on the shells there.
On the I'll go back to that, click on the shells. Oh, view detail. Yeah, I've got it. And it takes me through to what the shells are. Oh, wow. And where they are and everything. I'll tell you what, that's amazing. And it tells you where they all are on the maps.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
my God.
Like which game mode it is from, like, you can say where they all are for Jill or where they are for Chris.
This is impressive. This is amazing. Do you know what? I wish I had more development skills, because I would do something like this for Sonic, and I'd love it. I would just sit there all night long when I couldn't sleep, just making up Sonic stuff and just showing you everything about the. Oh, it's amazing. This is incredible. So, what's that? So, let's just get. You told me that you were the only person that worked on this. Like, this to me looks like something a whole team of people would be doing. You seriously did all this on your own?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said. I mean, I absolutely adore Resident Evil, and I found building up the data for this just really well, probably I'm bordering on obsession, to be honest. But it was just cool, and to be honest, I was just really doing it for my benefit more than anything. And I thought I'd publish it, and so I'm so glad to hear that you like it, and I'm really lucky to have people visiting my site as well. I have analytics on there. I can see people hitting it, so it's great. It's great to know that's useful to some people.
I think it would. I mean, if I was going to sit down and start playing a Resident Evil game and I got a bit stuck, this is like. I mean, the great thing about this is, for me, like as a gamer, is like you said, you got things like Game FAQs now, which just basically tells you what to do. This is different because it's just a little bit of help, isn't it? It's like, here's the layout. You might just want to sort of, and it's just kind of, it's more like just slowly guiding people with the maps and the items and stuff, rather than it being a full-on, let's just take you through what to do, which, you kind of, especially with the sort of games that Resident Evil are, that would kind of spoil it. So, I mean, there's so much on here. I mean, Sam, can you see this?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. So it's amazing, amazing site. I mean, this is for a solo effort as well. I mean, it's amazing.
I'm jealous.
From the perspective of having to run a long-running fan site, and this site's been going since like 2005. There's a phenomenal amount of information on here. It's all laid out in a really clear and concise fashion. And,
I really like it. See, the thing is, I'm going to be honest with people when I'm on this stream. I'm not a huge Resident Evil fan. Like I've played them, and they're very good games. Like if I was given a Resident Evil game to review, it would score really highly. For instance, like I appreciate. It's just I'm just more into like sort of colourful, fast games. But this sort of thing here, seeing this is inspiring me. It's inspiring me to want to play more. I've only really played the first one on the Sega Saturn, and I've played the ones on the Dreamcast because I got those for my Dreamcast. So I haven't really been, and Dino Crisis. I know it's not quite the same thing. So I haven't really been much beyond the series, beyond like the sort of 2000s. So everyone's telling me I need to play Resident Evil 4. Let's have a look at some of the information about it. So Leon, there's loads of characters in it. Are these all people you can? Oh wow, there's all the characters. This is amazing. So Alex, what's the what has the feedback been like then? Because you said you get lots of people click on it. You must have had some people that are like, this is really good. Does anyone else want to get involved? Do you ask other people for help at any point, or?
I have. I mean, people have been great actually. I mean, I've got a little guest book on the site. People leave me occasionally a nice little bit of feedback, which is really nice to hear. And people point out mistakes in my data as well, because there are things I miss. And actually, quite recently, Because I particularly, if you asked me like which is my favorite of the Resident Evils, I would have to say it's the original, like the Smackdown 1996 original game. It's still my favorite. And there's still things I learn about that game even today, 25 years later. There's still things that surprise me about it. Like somebody pointed me in the direction of a couple of extra zombies that's happened to spawn in a room that once you visited, there's not really a reason to go back there. But they spawn there just out of bizarre conditions. Like the developer decided to just put some sort of event to happen, and it's like, why would they spawn there? But they're there, and I sort of found it, covered it on my site. But it's like, it's just incredible that, and I think people underestimate how big the original game was as well.
Yeah, do you know what? I was obviously doing things for the show. I've been playing it a little bit this week, and I kind of forgot that as well. That it wasn't like a game that just took like a couple of hours to. I know people can speedrun it really quick and all that, but I mean, just playing it, there's a lot of content there for a 1996 game. Can we? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but someone has said contention. Gunblader said, "Wait, I found a gap in the game catalogue. No Resident Evil Gayden, a Game Boy side story based around Barry Burton." What's your response to that, Alex?
I've let everyone down. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. No, honestly, that is a game that I started playing on like an emulator. I mean, it wasn't an officially. Well, it's not considered canon. I mean, not to say I don't cover canon games, obviously, in my series, because I cover things like. The side games. I want to start covering more of the side games, not just the main series games. But yeah, I eventually want to start covering these little gems of like Resident Evil Gayden and even some of the more I don't know, less popular ones, such as Operation Raccoon City, which I've been holding off updating because I'm, to be quite honest, not particularly bothered about playing it. But but I do eventually want to literally cover everything. It's just it's obviously takes me some time to catalogue it all.
Yeah, it certainly would do. I mean, yeah, but yeah, I mean, the fact that this site's been going for like, was it 15 years now, and you've had it going that long, and you still got work to do on it. That's amazing. Do you know, I started something like, did you know a game called Heroes Might Magic on the PC?
Heard of it? I've never played it.
Yeah, it's like a turn-based strategy game. It's quite popular with PC people. But I started something like this when I was like, I mean, I'm going back donkey's years, like 25 years when I first got a PC. And I kind of envisaged this, like all the different games, and I could click on the game and I could go in and see all the characters and all that sort of stuff, and I could do all this, and I kind of envisaged. So I'm to see something like this with someone that's so passionate about a series, I find it really phenomenal. Like, do you find that doing this work kind of makes you appreciate the series more, or does it kind of uncover some of the magic, if that makes sense, because you're looking so much detail into it? Like, do you see a lot of flaws in the gameplay or flaws in the story while you're putting this stuff together?
No, I think it's definitely the former. It definitely makes me appreciate it more because, I mean, like I said just a second ago, is like I keep discovering new things because I have to cover things in such detail. Like I have to play through. I don't know how many times I've completed each game in order to be able to cover it, but again, I always, it's something in the back of my mind is thinking, right, I've gone this far now. I'm going to backtrack all the way back to the mansion or back to the police station just to see if anything's changed, if any new enemies have spawned. And if I do discover something, it's like, oh, brilliant, it becomes rewarding, putting that effort in of that you've actually discovered something that a lot of people probably never even bother trying. Why would you go all the way back to the beginning of the game? Because why would you? So it definitely doesn't pick holes in the series for me. It makes it more challenging, if anything, because I have to play the game so many times, so I essentially know them inside and out. Yeah. But that, like I said, that doesn't diminish their replayability for me. I still enjoy playing them even now.
I'm glad to hear that, because this isn't about me, I should be saying, but I'm seeing so many similarities between us. Like, I do the same with Sonic, but like, I go back and I purposely try and break it and stuff, like I purposely try and make Sonic go places that he shouldn't be going, and I do a lot of that sort of stuff on purpose, and then like you say, why would people be doing that, like going back all the way through a level and trying something and that? But I think it just shows a love for a game, doesn't it, when you want to see absolutely every single detail in it, and the fact that you've managed to take all that love and all that detail and put it into such a I don't know, it's almost like the perfect folder for a Resident Evil fan. What's been the biggest challenge though, putting that together, apart from just the actual physical work? Like, what do you think has been the hardest thing about it?
I mean, obviously, apart from actually having to play the games and on the hardest difficulties as well, because I try to cover like literally everything. The biggest challenge, I suppose, well, it is just finding the time to do it, because it's obviously I've been doing it for like 15 years now, and it takes a long time to obviously cover a game. When the last few games came out, like a Resident Evil 2 remake and Resident Evil 3 remake, I managed to get like practically all the coverage of those games done within like a month of it coming out, which takes a lot of time. I purposefully like take time off work just to play these games and just
Wow.
to focus on it. But I mean, I'd never see it as a burden or anything like that. I enjoy doing it. I absolutely thoroughly enjoy doing it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy doing it. I mean, that's the bottom line of it. Not that I say I wouldn't abandon it. As soon as I stopped enjoying doing it, I wouldn't abandon all of my people who use it. I would still try to do it for them, but it's it's an absolute pleasure to do. I mean, I guess on one hand, obviously, I was back in 2000, and I mean, the first version of Evil Resource started off as a Word document.
Wow.
And I drew the maps using like tables and Word. It was absolutely dreadful. And I started learning web technologies and obviously HTML, CSS, etc., and then PHP and other web-based languages. And I just keep, in many ways, Evil Resource turned into a project of my own to learn web development, as well as being able
So it gave you a career.
Essentially, yeah.
There you go. That's amazing. So like, your love for a video game series sort of gave you this desire to show people all the things to give them all the knowledge about it, and then you decided you liked doing that so much that you'd go and learn how to be a web developer for it and get a job. That's incredible. That's the power of video games. What's been the most rewarding thing about doing it? Like, what's the biggest achievement you think?
Well, I suppose the biggest achievement of doing it is, I mean, apart from obviously getting having a career from it, essentially, learning all these skills, because I keep trying to push the boundaries of it in order to learn something new about web technologies, adding new features here and there. But the most rewarding thing about doing this particular project of mine is, I guess it's but like I said at the beginning, I just had this hobby of just cataloging everything, and this became this allowed me to have the medium of actually being able to store that and share it with the online communities. Basically, giving something back to the online communities is definitely a massive reward, because like I said, all those other websites, which sadly some of them have long gone, unfortunately. But I mean, we still got a few around there, and obviously Game FAQs is a fantastic resource. And just be able to do this is just to provide a slightly different angle on providing people with help in playing Resident Evil games is the least I can do.
Do you remember? I tell you what, you sound like you've been doing this sort of thing. What do you remember those things called Yahoo groups before we had like Facebook and all that sort of stuff? And you had that. Do you remember Yahoo groups? And I used to kind of join them. Yeah, I remember those. And it was like, I remember joining some Sonic ones and Sega ones and I think Street Fighter ones at the time and stuff, trying to get information. Trying to talk to people and stuff. But what'd you do with this bit and all that sort of stuff? It's funny how like now, you've put all this effort in, and now I can just take for granted now going on something like your website just to get all the information that I'm going to need about something. Whereas like, before people like you had these passions, we would kind of be scrambling around for it. I think it's absolutely amazing. Sam, did you see how good that website is? Did you want to ask for any tips?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I mean, I had a question regarding. Obviously, I've seen the banner at the top of the site. It's got some fantastic artwork, and obviously the logo as well. They're all quite high quality, like .png images. Yeah. I was just wondering how you go about getting all the high quality images for the site. Is that a challenge or?
Oh. Did you hear that one, Alex? Oh,
I'm afraid not.
You might have it on mute. No, so Sam was asking, how do you go about getting such high-res images of the PNGs onto, like, you know, like the banner at the top and stuff? Like, you know, what's the best way of doing that? Because I'm noticing that as well. You've got these lovely high-resolution banners and stuff.
Yeah, so I did that in a variety of ways. I mean, for the most part, it was painstakingly playing the game on my PC because I've got all the games for the PC, and taking screenshots and then using something like image editing to cut out them very carefully, and then I created my own suite of like C# utilities to like crop them and compress them, etc., and upload them to the website. But some of them I found some tools that allow you to sort of extract some of the raw assets from the actual game files themselves, which is a bit tricky, but it seemed to work quite well. I can obviously share what I found with that. I mean, there's a Resident Evil modding website which I use go on quite frequently because somebody actually made a randomizer for the Resident Evil remake, which is absolutely amazing. It just randomizes all the enemies and items and things like that. It's absolutely incredible. So these guys just know the ins and outs of being able to get into and mod games, get into the side of them, get into the inside the gears of them, and change things around. So
there you go then. Lots of hard work by the sounds of it to get it to looking this good. Yeah, because I mean I know a bit of HTML and that is it. You know, very very basic stuff. And I'm really impressed. Like it's certainly inspired me anyway to look a bit more into how to build a nice clean looking website. Because I find websites these days are so cluttered with stuff, but your one feels like in a really nice space where the information's there, but you still got things that you need like Facebook clicks and the odd advert, whatever it is you need to have. I like the little news section as well. That's pretty good. Latest news.
I deliberately trying to keep it as clean as possible. Like I don't want to clutter it with adverts and things like that. That's not that I'm saying that adverts are a bad thing.
No,
they're necessary.
It's necessary evil, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
A necessary resident on your Resident Evil page.
Absolutely.
I don't know where I was going with that. I'll leave the jokes to other people, but no, it's really good. Right, I'll tell you what, Alex. Thank you very much for popping on. People that I'll re-put the site in the chat there because it'd be lovely if people could visit and mention something in the guest book. And if you need to know anything about Resident Evil except the Game Boy games, according to Gunblade, then check this out. So Alex, you're a friend of the show now, which means you've got to come back at some point. Maybe we could get you back if we do like a panel discussion or something. I was thinking of doing a panel discussion of generally creative people. Maybe you could come back for one of those in the future.
That would be my absolute pleasure. No, I mean, thank you so much for inviting me on this. It's been really good. And I tell you what, if you ever need any assistance with any kind of web development,
well, you know what? I was thinking, I'm not very good at making my own website, so I was thinking, wow, you know what? If I'm gonna, I'm looking at your one. I'm like, I wouldn't mind my website looking nice and clean. Like, you might have a new customer coming your way. So yes, but thank you very much. A big round of applause from all the people watching, and check out Evil Resource. Big thank you to Alex, and enjoy with 25th festivities, and hopefully you can stick around because next we've got a big collector.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be sticking around. Thank you very much.
All right. Nice to meet you, Alex. See you soon, my friend.
You too. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Whoa, guys. How cool is that website? Let's get myself back on. Let's go. How good is that? That was an amazing website. Right, we've still got more stuff to get through. We've still got more stuff to get through. Thanks, Alex. Thank you very much from Sam there. So, our next, what we got next? Collectors. I know this is I know for some people watching the show, they're like, oh, I can't wait, can't wait. This collection is, it's immense. It's immense. When I was watching it, when I was looking through the pictures, I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is one of the best collections I've ever seen for video games. And I'm having problems with my Zoom again. Look, it's gone back to that menu again. Yeah, anyone that uses Zoom will know what I'm talking about when it's like got this new menu thing. Anyway, let's not worry about that. Where's my meetings? Guys, this coming up now is phenomenal. And we've still got more after this as well. We've still got anyone that knows Tiger. I think Tiger's hanging around. He's going to give us some retrospectives as well about Resident Evil. So we've still still got more time. The show is going on. Let's open this up a little bit. Zoom. Hopefully, oh, I don't want to do that. Share screen. No. Hopefully, our other. Where's my friend? My other friend. Aha. Nope. Do I start my video? Does that work? There we go. Is that working? Yeah. So we've got the collector coming up now, guys, and it is a good, huge Resident Evil collection. Honestly, I cannot just get over what I was looking at. Now, how do I... Jeremy, are you in there? Oh, Jeremy, you're there. You're there, Jeremy. How do I get rid of this chat thing here? Go away. How do I get rid of this thing? There we go. That's what I want. Ah, Jeremy. Hello. We got you. We haven't got a video.
Oh no. Let me see.
Ah, you need to click start video.
Let me try to fix that.
Ah, no worries. Take your time. And Jeremy's from America, so as always, we're an international show. We're an international show. We have people from all around the world, and Jeremy's taken precious time out of his day here because it's God knows what time it is over in America. What time is it there? About 3 o'clock, Jeremy?
3 p.m. Yep.
3 p.m. Right. Can you all hear Jeremy? Okay, Jeremy, can you turn your volume up a tiny bit?
Yeah. Can you hear me? No?
I can hear you, but I'm just if you turn it up a tiny bit. Oh, if you can't, don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Oh, we've lost Jeremy. We've lost the collector. Maybe he's gone to find He's gone to fight a zombie. There he is. There he is. Hello, Jeremy. How you doing, my friend?
I'm all right. How about you?
Do you know what? I'm wonderful, and this is one of my favourite parts of the show as well. When we just get to look through someone's room. There's a show in the UK called Through the Keyhole, where basically these really pervy celebrities, Z-list celebrities, go and look around other Z-list celebrities' houses, and they've got to guess whose house it is. Obviously, we know it's your house, it's your Resident Evil collection, but us British people are quite nosy about houses. So, what is it about Resident Evil, Jeremy? Why is it that you've put? I'm tantalising. I'm putting people. I'm mouth-watering, making them mouth-water. What is it about Resident Evil that made you just build this amazing collection that we're about to see?
It's. I guess it's always been one of my favorite games. It's one of the games that got me interested in getting into the gaming industry. Just the unexpected.
You work in the gaming industry. What do you do?
I am the QA manager at Way Forward Games. So we do River City Girls, stuff like that. River
City Girls, I love that guy. Really? Yeah. Oh, me and you got to talk. You got to come on for an interview. Okay. Go on then. Sorry, Resident Evil. Then we'll talk about that at the end. Resident Evil.
In fact, so River City Girls, what platform did you play it on?
I think I've got it on the Switch. I want to say. I can't remember. Oh no, Xbox. Is it on Games Pass now?
Yes.
Yes, I've got it on that then.
I only mentioned that because I wrote the achievement list and specifically put a Resident Evil reference in the achievements.
Well, there you go. There you go. Oh wow. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute then. Let's do your collection thing first though, because if you're involved in the games industry, I didn't know that, but I can get you back and you can show off one of your games.
Of course.
First of all, I just want to show people, this is what I would call the boring bit of the collection, even though it's not, is how many Resident Evil games do you have? And do you go for all the variants? I think you do, looking at this shelf.
Ironically, I don't have many of the EU variants, outside of, I think, Resident Evil 6 and 7. Mm-hmm. I mostly just, I started just as collecting, I guess I started with collecting the games, which is I just kept buying the games. And then there'd be re-releases, or in the case of Resident Evil 5, I had a lot of people living in an apartment once, and we had different connections. We were let's just get copies. It's gotten to the point, though, where now I would go into work and somebody would set a copy of a Resident Evil game on the desk. So it's well, that's going into my set now.
Oh, awesome. Do you know how many, off the top of your head, do you know how many different games you have before? Not just the games. I'm just interested.
Not offhand. I know
that's okay. It looks a lot, though.
The only title that I'm completely missing would be Gayden. I didn't get Resident Evil Gayden.
Okay, but you've got at least one of every game since the original to the modern, whatever the most modern game is, yeah?
Yeah. And in
That's
this
amazing.
Picture, in this picture, I do have a little bit of mixed. Like I have Devil May Cry and Dead Rising and stuff that's kind of related, but not really.
Yeah, because Devil. Yeah, we're going to talk about this a bit later when we talk to our next guest, who's going to be talking a bit about things like Devil May Cry, which could have or could not have been part of the series, etc. Right. Okay. So that's the games. I mean, guys, when I say that's the boring bit, I mean look how impressive it is. Wait till you see what's coming up next. I've tried to do these in the best possible order. Jeremy, your collection is insane. Right, guys, let's just start oogling. Now, this is like a wide shot of what's going on there. So we've got some posters. Do you want to talk us through this picture, Jeremy?
Yeah. So I'll be honest. Initially, the wall in the back with the posters, at the start of the pandemic, that is all that was Resident Evil. Is I just had one wall that was Resident Evil based, and then over the course of the pandemic, I'm like, I have so much things. I might as well just start putting it all everywhere, and it just spread across the entire room from that point forward.
Wow.
But yeah, this, I mean, my basic setup, my TV, and yeah, a lot of stuff in here. And some of it's actively in the process of changing. I mean, those 3 display cases I only did maybe a month or 2 ago, and I'm going to get another one on the right side this weekend possibly.
I'm so jealous of your display cases. I'll tell you why. Because I tell you what, I'm in the same boat as you, right, Jeremy? I'm a massive Sonic collector. I'm not going to talk about that. But I've had my collection away boxed up in a bedroom for about 5 years when I moved, and I lost my games room. It's only been since the pandemic that all this stuff behind me that I've been able to actually get the time then to sort it all out. So I'm in the same boat as you. I'm just sort of working it all out. Where does it all go? I'm loving this. Let's go to the next picture because people will start going, Faith, show us the stuff. Now, I mean, I'm glad the fact that you didn't make the pictures too bright. So we've got to look at stuff because it looks very Resident Evil-y. I love the colour schemes. What is it with the green and the red and the purple and all that? Were these colours chosen on purpose, or was it just randomly you'd want to put some colour in? Or
initially, I just bought the lights of like, oh, they have different colours. I don't really care. And then when I started putting them in there, I'm like, well, you know, I could do certain ones as certain themed. I mean, Resident Evil 2 I associate with red. Resident Evil 3, the orange, I was like, the city's on fire. I'm going to go with that. Resident Evil 5, I was like, oh, I could do yellow because it's like the African sun. Resident Evil 6 has purple on all the menus and stuff. Like, it was just kind of that mentality where I just started throwing certain colors, and I'm like, I'm going to just have them all their own unique color based on the number.
That, you know, I love that. I love the fact that you've gone into that much detail when you're thinking about it. Because I see people that, so I mean, I see a lot of collections, like, you know, being a nosy Brit, and just sometimes it's just quite plain. Like they got a Pokemon collection or something, and it's a glass door with loads of Pokemon stuff around. But your one looks like this. I loved it. Do you know what? I'm really feeling an affinity with you, Jeremy. Just in the sense that you're like me. You seem quite like everything's got to have its place. I like that. Let's get to the next picture. This is great. Do you know, this is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. A bit more detail here. So again, all the stuff like pops and just is that those duck things?
Yes.
I didn't know they did those. Wow.
Yeah, the Resident Evil ducks, cosplaying ducks. Yeah, I have the full set not opened as well, but then I was like, I got an extra Claire and Jill. I might as well put them in here.
Oh, I might as well. Yeah. Right. Wow. Okay. That's yeah. I've only just started getting the Sonic Pops, and they're expensive. I've got 4 more to get, and they're just ridiculous. So I know they do the tubs things as well. They're called tubs, aren't they? That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this. It's just so much going on. So let's get on to the next one. Here we go. Now this is one of my favourite ones. Now what's this house thing? I'll try and make it bigger for the guys. What's this house thing in the middle? I'll try and make the picture bigger so people at home can see.
So the top, it's for the Resident Evil 7 stuff. They made 3 different collector's editions based on the region. So
right.
I ended up getting all 3 of them. The top one is the US collector's edition, which had like a wind up, and it was a music box. So it plays Go Tell Aunt Rhody when you wind up the music box in it.
Right, I'm trying to make it bigger. Let's see. There we go. So that's a music. The house is a music box.
Yes, the top one.
Wow. So there's another house there. There's another house. Look. So what's that house then?
The bottom house was the EU collector's edition, and it's just a replica of the house. It looks more like the actual house in the game. And to my understanding, a lot of people tried to reserve it, and a lot of their orders got canceled because the houses got damaged when they were sent out.
That's just amazing. Okay, so this is all like sort of proper limited edition stuff then, isn't it? What about this taping, this just caution and all that? Is that just like for decoration, or is that part of like a limited edition set or something?
So right now the plan is, and I'm going to be changing this around a little bit, but the plan initially is the caution tape is going to be replaced with certain other things. So one of them will be where Resident Evil 8 would go, and the other one was where a giant Ada statue is going, because they're releasing like a 19-inch statue of Ada Wong. And they're also going to release a Leon, which is actually what's prompted me to get another display case and kind of rearrange this a little bit.
These houses are just amazing. This is when you first sent me the pictures over, I was just like, I have to know what these houses are. Honestly, this is jaw dropping. This is the way you've displayed everything as well. This is like another mouthful of shots. There's some more pictures and stuff there. So you're obviously into the films and that as well, because you've got some of the film posters. Is that right?
Yes, I mean they're fun for what they are. They're just, most of them, they're goofy action films. But obviously, I have a pretty big connection to one of them. Yeah.
Very good, very good. Yeah, the films are okay. You know, I'll tell you what, for movies based on video games, the only real good ones I've ever seen is probably Mortal Kombat. It's fun. And then Resident Evil, and then more recently Sonic. Not because I like Sonic, because it was actually just an okay movie. You know, see, I think they're getting better. Yeah, Resident Evil's not too bad. I think some of the later films are a bit silly, but yeah, the originals are good.
They got more cartoony as they went on. The first one was interesting because it was not really an adaptation, and then the second one started to bring in the game characters, and I was like, oh, I really like the blending of that story.
Okay, what's your favourite film then out of the films? What's your favourite one? Because there's quite a few. There's like 5 of them, isn't there?
6.
6.
Yes.
What's the best one? The first
I can easily say the 6th one is my least favorite. I would probably have to give it to the second one only because that's the one I own props from. It feels like de facto I have to say that one.
Fair enough. Well, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I'm always worried when I hear a game's being turned into a movie. I always get that kind of initial, oh my god, this is going to be awful. But I think sometimes if you just take them for what they are, like a bit of silly action Hollywood, whatever, that's how I went into Sonic movie. Because when I heard about the Sonic movie, I almost fell into tears, and I was like, is it going to ruin Sonic? And actually, you know what? If you just take it for what it is, it's actually quite fun. I think the only terrible one, and a really terrible one, is the Mario film. That is just awful. That is really bad.
Yeah.
Have you seen that Mario Brothers movie?
Yeah, that one, and I mean honestly, I'd say even worse than that are some of the Uwe Ball adaptations. House of the Dead, Blood Rain. A lot of those ones did not get great adaptations either.
Yeah, of course, Blood Rain. Yeah, that didn't. Blimey, yeah. Was it the Final Fantasy though? Final Fantasy had a couple of films, an animated film, didn't it? That was okay.
Yeah.
And it had a few others. Yeah. Got Gunblade here saying that I prefer the Resident Evil animated movies. I didn't even know there was Resident Evil animated movies.
3 of them. Yeah.
What are they like?
I mean, I think that they appeal a lot more to fans. I'm of 2 mindsets on it because it is supposed to be set in the games world. But whereas live action ones, they're their own thing. They're goofy over the top. The CGI ones are set in the game world, but they're also goofy over the top action. So I'm like, I don't know. They're still entertaining. And it's fun to see some of the cast be able to do their performances in the films.
Yeah, very good. I'm going to check those out because I've actually got... I have a kind of little secret collection of video game DVD, video, stuff like that. And I tried to get them all, so I'm going to look out for those because the Street Fighter animated films are excellent. The Street Fighter live action film is terrible. It doesn't even make any sense. But the animated manga ones are good. So maybe the Resident Evil ones will be good.
Neither of those Street Fighter live action movies make any sense.
No, they're terrible, aren't they?
The Legend of Chun Li.
That's right, yeah, Legend of Chun Li. Oh god, that's awful. I managed to banish that from my mind, but yeah, you're right, I've got that as well. Right, let's talk about your collection. And I recognise this. This is obviously the Resident Evil 4 Special Edition GameCube, but that's going to obviously be the NTSC one, isn't it? Has that got a black bottom, or is that a Game Boy player?
That is not. The NTSC did not get a...
so that is the power one then?
Yeah.
Ah, brilliant.
And I will note, this was a gift to me. it's also signed by the game's director.
Whoa, that's well cool.
Yeah. So that, the Resident Evil 5 Xbox 360 with its faceplate, and a Resident Evil 5 Tricell PS3. It's kind of hard to see it in any image, really, because it's black on black, but it has a Tricell's logo on the bottom of it.
Well, this Xbox?
No, the PS3.
The PS3. Oh, I can't. Yeah. Oh, I can see it there. Biohazard.
Yeah.
Okay, what's this? I've not seen this Xbox before. I didn't know there was an Xbox. What's this Xbox?
I don't know if they released it in the EU as well, but it's just a red Xbox 360. The faceplate they sold separately, but
yeah. That's still cool though. I love that. I'm a big GameCube fan. It's my favourite Nintendo console, so it's lovely to see that. And a limited edition Biohazard PS3. Very, very nice. You haven't then got the best one, though, have you? The Dreamcast Biohazard.
I do not currently...
Oh, because that is lush.
Yeah.
That is lush.
One of them soon. The red one. The blue one's the one
there's
I
a
really
purple
want.
one as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man, this isn't about me, but I collect Dreamcast as well, like a lot of Dreamcasts, and I'm always missing out on those. They're just too much money now.
Yeah.
But it's good to see the consoles there. Then I like that. Right, moving on. Then what we got? So this was more posters, wasn't it? So this is a mixture of games and. So you've got a mixture of games and films. Are these shop promo displays and stuff? I was going to ask about these.
Yes, Resident Evil 3, 4, and 5 were all, and 6, I guess, were all store promotional artwork or displays.
Oh, really? How did you go about getting them then? Did you just get them off eBay, or did you go into an actual store and say, could I have those when you're throwing them away? Or
for 3, 6, and 4, yes. I just said, hey, when you guys toss those out, can I get them? And luckily I met people that were really cool and were able to do that. 3 was hard to get because of the whole lockdown situation.
Okay, yeah.
And 5, Blockbuster used to put those up on the exterior windows, those 4-piece giant posters. So yeah, that one I got in a different way.
Yeah, okay. That's right. What's I'm a big fan of display. I've got a few display pieces. Yeah, some of them have come from exactly the same. Some of them have come from shops where I've said I can have those. But yeah, sometimes they're hard to. Sometimes you just got to go for them, haven't you? As well, if you see them. I spent quite a lot of money on a Sonic poster recently, which I knew was stupid, but I was like, I just want it because I know I want it for the world. But yeah,
I completely understand.
Yeah, no, it's very good. It's good to see someone getting posters. There's sometimes people have these really nice collections and they forget about the things like that, like the promo pieces and stuff. So that's good to see. We'll get on to the really good stuff. I think that's coming up soon. Where's the next one? Is that the right one? What's this one? Oh, I've got two of the same. Don't say I've got two of the same. Is that one? That's that one. Gone right. What's this one? Oh, this is better. You've done a better photo of the house for me, yeah. Guys, look at this. How cool is this? So, let me get this right. So, did all the stuff in that come in the limited edition pack? Is that everything, or is it just like individual pieces?
This, like, what I did with the 7 shelves was I actually split them up a little bit. So, from that house, the dummy finger, and the videotape were all in the U.S. Collector's Edition and the Steelbook. Wow,
look at the steel book. That looks amazing. That's filth. That's filth. Filthy collectible stuff. Oh, wow. Do you know what? What's the videotape? Is that just like a prop? Obviously?
Yeah, it says that it's the, like, Desolated House videotape or something. That's where the dummy finger was put in. So, like, you had to open up the videotape to get the dummy finger out.
Oh, okay, yeah. This is a big thing at the moment, isn't it? These collector's editions, because most games now are more or less just download only. There's not really much point in having discs and stuff. So how are they getting around that? So people have still got something to have on the shelf. Is this, isn't it? This amazing. I mean, they do this for all the big games now, don't they? These big boxes. What do you do with the boxes though? Because I've got a few Sonic ones, and I go, what am I going to do with these big boxes?
I used to have them all stacked on one side, but now I've actually moved them into the closet, so they're just not in the line of sight anymore.
I might have to do that. Yeah, I love. This is my favourite piece that I've seen that you've got is this house. I absolutely love it. There's still more, guys. There's still more. Let me just hold on a minute. What was that? I think I missed one. No, we did that one, didn't we? And then that's the house. Sorry, guys. There's so many pictures here that I want to make sure I get them all. This was just more of a closer see. Again, this is action figures, yeah. So do you want to talk us through the action figures? There is this a complete set? I take it.
I'm actually missing one. These were like little blind box figures that they released back when that came out, when Resident Evil 4 came out, of just like it. You didn't know what you were getting. It could have been any one. And I went to a local store at the time, and they had just got them in, and I was like, I'll just buy all of your boxes. So I ended up with every one except for one. There's like a giant monster enemy, and that was not in one of the ones they had. The funny thing is, I never really thought. I assumed a lot of collectors had these already. When I posted a photo of this, a lot of people turned out didn't have them, and now people are selling. Each one of those figures is like $60 to $80.
Whoa, that's great. And more pops there, more pops. Now I recognise these things in the background. These are the chainsaws, aren't they?
Yep.
Have you got all of those? Was there 3 or was there 2?
There was 2, the GameCube and the PS2.
And you've got them both there, haven't you?
Yep.
They're lovely, aren't they? Have you ever actually tried using it as a controller though?
I have not opened either of them.
Yeah, probably for the best. Anyone that's not aware, the thing in the background there that you can see, like in the middle of the screen there, they were like display piece controllers that were like in the shape of chainsaws, but they were actual controllers you could plug into your like PlayStation or whatever. Yeah, a great display piece, but not very good controllers. Yeah, no, that's good. I like that. I really like that. Figures is one. I've never really got into figures. I always admire it when I see it. Like I know a guy. He lives in the UK, and he's a big game collector, but he's also got a side project of collecting Star Wars figures from the 80s and the 70s, and he's got every single one. And it's like, he was telling me that some of them now just sell for like thousands.
Yeah, the prices on those sometimes skyrocket. That's probably where I started collecting some of my Resident Evil stuff from, was like basic figures, and I was like, I kind of got lucky that like a local comic store would have them, and it's like, yeah, they were more than what they were initially, but also now they're like 4 times as much just because you can't get them anymore.
Do you have that collector's problem, which a lot of us do, where you sometimes get that guilty feeling of like, I really wanted this, it means more to me than the money, but now I've realised I've been a bit silly and I spent $200 on some cardboard. Do you get that feeling? No.
No, I would say sort of.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way, is Resident Evil 8, there's a collector's edition obviously for that. And I ordered that. And I ordered the version of it from Japan that comes with Chris Redfield's jacket.
Of course you did.
Expensive collector's set. Getting just that kind of jacket would probably be a lot cheaper than buying that set.
You got to do it though, haven't you? You got to do it. I sometimes look back at some of the purchases for my collection. I just think, do you know what? As much as I like having this really wasn't worth the money. But I've got it now, and it's mine forever. But no, I always throw that question there because I'm always kind of interested in like the brain mechanics behind why someone collects something as well. Because I think there's something inside people that us that just have like big amounts of things of one particular thing. And I find it always fascinating. What's going on here then? So this is like a bit of a mix match of stuff. Now, I have no idea what any of this is. Oh, it'll help if I could actually move it. Just make that a bit bigger. What's a tricell? What's that?
Tricell is an evil corporation in Resident Evil 5 that they introduced.
Okay.
And that right there, that progenitor virus detection kit, was actually their press kit. So like inside of it were like gloves, a face mask, and like a DVD that was like behind the scenes and screenshots and stuff like that.
Oh, that's amazing. I've always loved this about Resident Evil stuff, where they kind of make it like real life objects as well. I can't think of many sort of game series where the merchandise and the peripherals kind of have a real embedded kind of link to the game. It's normally just like statues and figures like we've seen, but I've seen this with a few Resident Evil, especially where I've been putting this show together. I've been looking at a lot of Resident Evil stuff, and a lot of it seems to be like the videotape that you had, or like this. It's almost like a PPE kit, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And I find that fascinating. I think trying to think of other games I've seen. I think there was and the chainsaw proof and all that sort of stuff. Very interesting. Is that a snow globe?
It is a sand globe technically, but yes.
Wow.
And actually, in between that and the Tricell kit is a credit card that I signed up for just because it had Resident Evil 5 on it.
A credit card with Resident Evil. What? Oh, the Visa. I see it. Oh wow, it's got like a little medallion thing on top of it. You signed up for a credit card just. Do you know what though? If they made a Sonic credit card, I'll be the first person applying. I'd want that on a credit card.
Like,
That's amazing. What? But hold on a minute. Let me go. Let's just get this sorted out. So there was a bank in America that wanted to do a Resident Evil debit card. Is that right?
It
Or
was
credit card.
Capcom's website did it. So it was like exclusive through their site. And yeah, like they had a few different kinds of cards, and I think they had 2 Resident Evil 5 ones. I was just like, well, I need to get this.
That's crazy. That is. Do you know what? That is. I'll tell you what. Capcom, they do some good stuff. I mean, sidetracking a bit, not Resident Evil, but with Capcom. There was one of my favourite games they did, Marvel vs. Capcom. Capcom vs. SNK. It was originally in the arcades, and then when it come to Dreamcast, they made all these special controllers and stuff, and you had to like sign up to all these, like you say, like websites and stuff to get all the bits and pieces for it. It took me ages to track all that down from Japan.
Yeah.
Japan get the best stuff, don't they, Jeremy? Don't they? They do.
They very much do.
They always get the best stuff in Japan. It's I'm always the first person that advocates importing stuff from Japan. Amazing. Right, we've got a couple more pictures here. I'm trying to. I think I'll save the best. Oh, I love this one, the green. Now, what color? What game does green represent? Resident Evil 4.
No, this is Resident Evil 1.
Resident Evil 1. That's green. Why is it green again?
It originally wasn't going to be like. Originally, I had a different color for it, but then I started thinking like you're outside of the forest of Raccoon City, and the main menu of the remake has a more green tint to it. So I'm like, I'll just go with green on this one.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. So there's lots down here. Look, so we've got police badges. Oh, look, and a letter. Is that like when you save the game sort of thing?
That is actually from. They did a special in Japan, a special set for Resident Evil 0 and 1, and they had a letter for Resident Evil 0 specifically as part of it. I was like, I'm just going to throw this in there because it has a little symbol on it. It's supposed to be from James Marcus, a villain in the series. I'm like, I'll just put that in there next to the keys.
Ah, very good. I love the statue. That's Jill, isn't it? Tell us about that. Where'd that come from?
Which one? Oh, that one was a NECA action figure that they released, I think around the 15th anniversary. It's like 10 years ago.
Okay. I like the look of that, and there's novels. There's sorry. Let me just confirm. There's Resident Evil novels. Are they actually any good?
Yes, those ones specifically are actually very good. From SD,
really,
a lot of fans like those ones a lot.
Wow. Oh, you got another Jill figure. So okay, then there's another statue there. Is that the same? That's the same company, is it? No, it's
that
different.
Is a different company. They were called Moby Dick. They did a lot of big sets. Like that one came with a giant hunter figure, and I just decided to put her in with the rest of this stuff.
Yeah, I like Jill. I mean, I obviously knew Jill from the original game, but I really fell in love with Jill from again, I'm sidetracking, but another Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. She's in that, and she's really good as a fighting character. What's the tablets there? Umbrella Corporation tablets. What's that?
It is candy. It is
candy. Oh wow. And that's going into the Resident Evil 2. Right, guys, we've got. I've nearly run out of time. Oh damn it! I've got to get through the pictures. Jeremy, I can sit and look at this all day. Now, this is what on earth is this? What's this?
That is. Is
that a real gun?
It's airsoft replica from Japan of the gun from Resident Evil 7, like the final gun you get in the game that you defeat the boss with.
Whoa!
I will say this was the first purchase where I was like, should I really have done that? And then when it came in and the box it came in, I was like, oh, I'm actually really excited that I did that.
Go on, how much?
That cost at the time $300.
Oh.
I think maybe a little over. but it sold out. So people were already selling it for $900. I'm like,
Whoa.
I got to keep it now. And then when it came in,
that looks amazing. That looks so cool. Dude, you must have walked up to this collection all the time and just be like, I love my collection.
I am very happy with it. Yes.
I'm jealous. I think I'm gonna take everyone in the chat as well is probably very jealous. Well, Jeremy, thank you so much. And right, you said that you obviously work in the video game industry. So do you want to come back on the show maybe in a couple of weeks and you could talk about your latest game that you're promoting if you wanted to?
Sure. Yeah. Whatever. Just let me know anytime.
Yeah. So like, how we do it is normally obviously tonight it's a Resident Evil special, so we get lots of Resident Evil stuff on. But normally the format of the show is I interview like a game dev or an artist or someone like yourself, like who works in the industry, and whether their latest game is that they're working on, if they want to, they can give me a code and I can play it while I chat to them and interview them about the game. Mm-hmm. It'd be great to have you back for that.
Of course.
Brilliant. Well, I tell you what, Jeremy, your collection is insane, and not so much that the actual collection's wicked. It's just the way you've displayed it as well, which I think you take a lot of pride in it. And but I've got to go. My time is up. My time is up for this slot. So Jeremy, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for coming on and showing us that and taking the time to make the pictures. And I'll be back in touch soon then and see if we can discuss some of your games instead. Is that all right, buddy?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. See you later. See you later. Bye bye. Wow. How good is that, guys? It's my chat stream. How good is that, guys? No, I've got another one here, haven't I? I've got another interview to do. Guys, we're moving straight on. I tell you what, that is one of the best collections I've ever seen. Do you know, there was more. Jeremy sent more pictures, but I knew based on the time I'm going to have with Jeremy, I think he sent like 22 pictures in total, and I just picked the best 15. Now I could spend 2 minutes per picture. How good was that collection? I'm jealous. It's maybe, do you know, it makes me just want to play Resident Evil. Let's get our next guest on. Sam. Sorry, Sam. I didn't say goodbye. Goodbye, Sam. Sorry, Sam. I meant to say goodbye earlier. Tiger, are you there? Are you there, buddy? That is, yeah, Gunblade. That is an outstanding collection, isn't it? And just the way it's here. Yeah. All right. You're here, right? Okay. Why aren't you answering my phone call then? Hello.
Hi.
How you doing, Tiger? Oh.
I'm good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm wonderful. Yeah, I'm absolutely wonderful. I'm enjoying doing the show, and I can't believe that we're getting to the end, and this is the last bit of the show. This has been, guys, an absolute banger of a show. Even if I do say so myself, I think this has been a banger of a show. I mean, how good have the guests been so far? We've had Sam taking us through some good news again, which is always appreciated. We obviously had Alex, who had that amazing website and was just so passionate about the game. We had Ben at the start, who was talking us through his 25 facts. Just had Jeremy, whose collection, and now we get Tiger. Tiger, you know, you've got to step it up now, my friend. You're the last guest of the show. How do you feel? I say you to last because if people got bored by then, at least then they could just zone out.
Very nervous after seeing everyone else.
You're nervous. I don't believe you're nervous. So Tiger, I mean, normally you'd come on the show and you'd swear a lot or you'd say something naughty and you'd get us a Twitch reprimand. We've learned from that and we've moved on, haven't we? We've moved on.
Yeah.
And we're actually doing guys, we're doing serious stuff now. Even Tiger is doing serious stuff. Can you believe it? So Tiger, just before we start, tell us about your memories of Resident Evil. Give us a rundown of what it means to you as a series.
Well, my first memories of Resident Evil was the director's cut, and this was back in 97.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't actually own a PlayStation at the time, but my school friend from primary school did, and he used to rent the game, even though we were both underage. And then I just can remember being absolutely terrified because of, like, the jump scares of the dogs through the windows, and like the zombies and all that stuff. But also, because it was like the middle of winter, it used to get dark really early. And because he lives like quite a walk away from my house, I had to walk home. So it's like pitch black. Now wind's blowing. I can see trees rustling. Then suddenly some dogs start barking, and it just literally scared the hell out of me. So I'm like running for my life, man. So anytime.
What?
So anytime,
hold on a
like,
minute. Oh, let's go back. Sorry, go back. So hold on a minute. So you're telling me you had a real life Resident Evil experience?
yeah.
I've just got images of you now, just like coming out some alleyway and some rabid dog jumping up at you. But you survived, clearly.
Yeah,
Right.
survived, but I mean, it's just left me like when it comes to horror games, very easily jumpy and a bit of a chicken.
Bit of a chicken. Right, okay. So basically your memories of it are I got chased by a rabid dog and I'm now scared for the rest of my life.
Yes.
Wonderful. Right, you were going to tell us, wasn't you? You said to me earlier today you had some interesting differences between some of the games. Now, I'll leave this to you. Where do you want to start with this then?
Well, I think some of the differences were mentioned in the facts at the start of the show, so I don't know whether.
Oh, so
be
your
repeating.
piece has been blown out of the water already?
Yeah, but I can talk about the soundtrack one with the DualShock Director's Cut.
Go on then, tell us that story then.
Okay, because you know, like how there's like the normal version of Resident Evil, then there's a Director's Cut.
On the PlayStation.
On the PlayStation. But there's actually a third version, which was only released in America, I think, which was the DualShock version, which had DualShock support, but it still had like the same features as the previous Director's Cut. But
but it wasn't tank controls.
No, it was tank controls, but you could control it using the DualShock sticks.
Oh, rather than the D-pad. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it literally just said. Okay, fair enough. Right.
Yeah.
So what happened with the music?
Well, Capcom decided, we want to get a new composer in and basically redo the whole soundtrack. So to make it more symphonic and like more film-like, so they got this composer called Mamoru Samaguchi in, and he's basically, he was touted as like Japan's next Beethoven because he was deaf. So he'd done the soundtrack. Had some very some tracks were good, but there's some very dubious ones which were like god awful. Especially one called the Mansion Basement, which just sounded like a load of farting trumpets.
Right.
Yeah, right. So years later comes out that he also did the soundtrack for Onimusha, but like years later.
Oh, I like that game. The Capcom game.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, basically in 2014, he was caught out, and someone else actually ghostwritten all the music that he claimed to do, including the soundtrack for Resident Evil, the DualShock version, and Onimusha.
So he lied. He basically he had a ghostwriter. So what was the point of that then? Why didn't they just credit the actual person?
Because he wanted to build this mystique around him, like, oh, I'm the next, chap, like I'm Beethoven. No, I'm deaf. No, and basically anything that he said was a lie. His deafness was also a lie.
So he wasn't even deaf.
No. And that came out when someone tried to interview him, noticed something was up. But the actual guy that actually composed the music was
what happened to him? Or her?
Well, he used to work at was it Toho University for Sound and Music, but he resigned when the scandal came out. The guy's name was
scandal. He resigned his position because there's some dodgy thing from a video game 20 years ago.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, but also the reason why it came out was because was it the Olympics in Sochi? This guy, right, basically was saying, "Oh yeah, I wrote this song for the Japanese like Olympians and all that stuff," and basically it came out that it's like there's something sketchy going on. So he basically said, I actually wrote these, but the guy's name was actually Takahashi Nigaki.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So not only did he resign, but he ended up working in television as a presenter, and he actually done quite well.
Do you know what? Anyone that knows anything about Japan and bit more in depth than just samurais and stuff like that will know that that they're really proud people. So if this scandal happened in the UK, nobody would even notice it. They'd be like, "Oh, did you hear about that guy? Yeah, apparently someone else wrote that music." The end. It literally would be like a footnote in a magazine or a website. But in Japan, I could imagine it becoming a scandal, and he had to quit his job and everything. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, then. So there's scandal. Go on. Oh, there's more, is there?
Yeah, because basically the guy that was saying, he was pretending to actually write these songs. He was basically finished, but the guy that actually goes through the compositions, right? He resigned his job, ended up going into television, and basically he had a lot more support from people when he actually came out that he actually wrote all these songs and compositions. So
wow.
So he's ended up with more favour than the first guy.
Who's now just a disgrace and will never work again. Have to live in a hovel hole. Well, that's brilliant. And do you know what? I love things like that in the game industry where, it's not really that important, but clearly to some people it was. So, wasn't there as well? One thing I wanted to bring. I don't know if you've got this in your notes. I was reading about it that the Saturn version of the original game had a battle mode.
Yes.
That you could unlock. Now, I don't know anything about that. I don't remember that. I obviously didn't unlock it for whatever reason. But is that in your notes? I wouldn't mind hearing about that. I meant to ask one of my guests, but I totally forgot.
Yeah.
So, have you ever played the battle mode?
Yeah, I played the battle mode where you could choose, where you basically play through stages where you have to kill enemies, and the quicker you do it, basically you get good time in it, you unlock the next one, and you can unlock different characters. But also with the Saturn version, there was a golden tyrant and a Wesker enemy as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's slightly different to play. Okay, maybe we need to. Maybe I need to do a stream of, because I'd rather play the Saturn one because I can't stand the PlayStation controller at all. So I would play the Saturn one. Right. It's not that our time is up, but time is getting on. We were going to talk a bit. Have you got any more differences? Is there any more on your list there?
Well, with the Saturn version, there's the hunter enemies were reskinned as ticks, but also there was the second tyrant enemy.
Right.
Right. So basically, when you get to a scene where the tyrant breaks out of its tank and you defeat it, if you examine another tank at the other side of the room, another one kind of jumps out.
Oh. The secret enemy, not in the PlayStation. So the Saturn version's got a lot more than the PlayStation version. Is that, can we just confirm that, people? Good.
Yeah.
All right then. Now, just to finish things off with you, Tiger, we also had a discussion, didn't we, about a few games that come shortly after Resident Evil that we said probably were inspired a bit by Resident Evil or possibly other things like Alone in the Dark. Do you want to get onto those now, or did you have anything more you wanted to say about the differences?
Also, with the Saturn version, it seems to have a lot more blood in it.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay. Really?
Yeah.
That seems strange because Sony didn't really seem that bothered about censorship. That's odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and Gunblade saying, didn't the DS version of Resident Evil have... I don't know, I've never played Resident Evil on a DS, I'll be honest with you, I don't know. Tiger, do you ever play it on the DS? Has it got more unlockable characters for multiplayer? Hold on a second, go back. How is Resident Evil multiplayer?
Because you could do multiplayer over the DS's wireless. If everyone had a card,
What you both play in the same room?
Yeah, if you played in the same room and you had the same cartridge, you could play.
I didn't know that. That sounds like a fun way of doing Resident Evil with 2 people. So one of you were the guy and one of you were the girl. Yeah. Okay, so we got and I think that's Jeremy there. Yeah, I believe so. Been a while, but I think it's played. Oh, right. I think. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know you learned something. I've learned so much today. Right, Tiger. I've got to move on to these games now. All right.
Yeah.
Time is getting away from me. I have right. So we got. I after we spoke, I just did some rough pictures. So D&D 2. Tell us about these games. They were both on the Saturn, wasn't they?
D was on the Saturn and D2 was on the Sega Dreamcast.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got these, I think. I've got both of those. Yes, I do. Yes, you're right. Well, so I'd be honest with you. I haven't played much of these games because they didn't get a localization, did they?
They actually did.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Go on, tell us about them then.
Okay. The first D game is a horror-themed interactive movie adventure game developed by Worf, and you play as Laura, who has to go through a castle to try and escape because she's like mysteriously transported there, but she has to solve puzzles while being menaced by her father.
Menaced by her father.
Yeah.
Is that okay? What? Okay. So what is it? Does it? So it doesn't play like Resident Evil. Then it's not like an action game. It's more like a visual game. Like
yeah.
A visual story. Okay. But it takes its horror themes and things from Resident Evil.
Yes. But also, the game also had a hard time limit of 2 hours, and if you didn't complete it by then, you automatically get a game over.
Oh no, one of those games.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, why did I do that? Sounds like your kind of game.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah, it is. All right. Okay. What's and then this one's a good game. I know this game. This is Deep Fear, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the Saturn. This is more like Resident Evil, isn't it? This game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd call Deep Fear Sega's answer to Resident Evil because it came out in 1998. It has similar tank controls. It's set on its settings different to where it's set on underwater, and there's
underwater. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like a mix of Resident Evil meets The Abyss.
Very good.
And like the inhabitants of this like undersea facility like turning into mutants and stuff, and it does have quite a few scares, but also it does have the Resident Evil trait of really awful voice acting.
Oh yeah, I was playing some Resident Evil today, and ironically it was that director's cut on PlayStation. I was talking to my boyfriend and I said, it's funny how this is on a director's cut and the director didn't think to redirect the actors to do a better job. Sorry. But yeah, no, Deep Fear, that's actually a good game, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
That's actually, I agree with you. I remember playing it. I remember playing it back in the day on my Sega Saturn, and I would agree. It basically is just like a Resident Evil clone, but yeah, slightly different setting, but very similar control style, pacing. Good game. I tell you what, it's expensive though, but if you can track it down, give that one a go.
Well, it's actually cheap to import. But also, it has a few differences compared to Resident Evil, where you could actually run while having your gun drawn. And also, it makes use of the face buttons on the Sega Saturn pad, where you could map items to buttons. So it made
shortcuts.
Yeah, so it made it easier than like going into the menu and selecting a different item all the time.
So there you are then, an updated version of Resident Evil. Right, what's this? This is a game I know the name Enemy Zero, but I don't think it's a game I've played. Do you want to talk us through this one?
Yes, Enemy Zero is also by the company called Warp, and it stars digital actress Laura, but this time instead of being in a castle, she's basically on a spaceship, and something happens, and it's a mix between some FMV stuff, but with real-time first-person perspective sections.
Okay.
But the main draw of it is all the enemies are invisible, and the gun that you have takes a long time to charge up. So you have to use your ears to listen to figure out where they are, and you have to try and shoot them before they can rush you.
That's a different sort of game, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I take it it's got like little puzzles and stuff in it as well. Oh, we've had some comments here about the acting. Brilliant. I'm glad people have commented. So, Gunblade said D2 is probably classed as retro. Would you be able to call it R2D2? Ah, Gunblade, brilliant. Sam has said the voice acting is a low point, but it kind of adds to it. It certainly does. And Nerd Revenge backs up with the acting, gives a perfect B movie feel. It's certain, I'd agree. All this Resident Evil talk is making me want to fire up the Umbrella Chronicles on the Wii. And Evil Resource, who we had on earlier, so Alex has said there are terrible demons out. Nice, I like it. So yes, well, I'm glad that got a reaction. I like the sound of that Enemy Zero game. I think I might check that one out, actually. You might have inspired me, Tiger.
Yeah.
Right, you got one more game for us, haven't you? This game is... this is Silent Hill, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so this was... Obviously, the other games we've kind of looked at are more kind of Sega games, aren't they? Is Enemy Zero a Sega game? That is, isn't it? That's on Dreamcast, isn't it?
It's on the Saturn.
It's on the Saturn. So Silent Hill, that was a PlayStation exclusive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And... tell us a bit about that then. This to me looks like the sort of game that's been more highly influenced. That's not even words, is it, Faith? More influenced by Resident Evil than any other from the screenshots here.
Yeah, because Silent Hill, instead of playing someone who's in the special forces, you play an ordinary person. So you find their combat skills
Are
lacking, but also there's no heads-up display, so you can't really tell, how much ammo have you got, how much health you got, until you go into different menus. But also, if you use a DualShock controller, it vibrates like a heartbeat to tell you, if your health's low. But also, it seems to be more psychological in horror because the town is like so foggy and you can't really see what's ahead. So you can see like shadows of things, but you don't know whether they're enemies. But also, when you pick up the radio, it kind of crackles every so often when there are enemies. But you also have to deal with puzzles, interact with other characters, but also it does have multiple endings as well.
So for the completionist, there's lots going on there. I'll be honest, I've not actually played Silent. I've seen. I remember when it came out. I remember a couple of my friends back in the day were like, "Oh, you got to play this game, Silent Hill." And I remember watching it, and I remember saying, "Oh, it just looks like a Resident Evil sort of clone." And they went, "Yeah, but it's different." So is that what you're trying to say, Silent? Because obviously Resident Evil is more about that kind of shock factor, rather than the. I can't. I've played enough Resident Evil to know that I wouldn't really say there's like a psychological angle to it. In the story, it is more of shock value. But obviously, you're saying with Silent Hill, it's more about that kind of that working through your brain of like, is there something there or isn't there something there, rather than just like So, to me, Resident Evil, like people are saying in the chat, it's like a typical horror B movie type of thing where you get the odd scare. Whereas, would you say Silent Hill was more of like a modern horror in that sense, in terms of story and gameplay?
I would call it more of a modern psychological type of horror.
Okay. But it's good that we can delve that deep into it. That on the face of it, both games look really similar, but actually deep down, there's actually like even the gameplay mechanics from what you've described would be different. Because Resident Evil, it's more about, oh my god, there's a zombie or a dog or whatever it is. Get in a position so I can kill it. Whereas with Silent Hill, it's more, is there stuff there? Do I do stuff? Is it? Yeah, okay, I'm with you. Do you know what? I really should play that Silent Hill. Does sound like a good game. Right, Tiger, the time is up. Thank you for that, my friend. That was a lovely way to end the show. It just gave me a bit of a breather after all the excitement. So thank you to all the guests. We've had 5 guests on tonight, guys. I'm absolutely shattered. This is the longest show we've ever done. And thank you all who've stuck around till the end. I would normally stay on and play a bit of game, but I'm not going to tonight because so much work's gone into this. Like, behind the scenes, guys, there's so much work goes into these radio shows that I'm a bit tired. So, Tiger, thank you very much, my friend. I'll say goodbye to you.
Thank you for having me.
No, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for being there. Thank you to all the guests if you're still around. We had Ben early on to open the show, talking very passionately about the series. Obviously, we had Sam, regular, the news hound with the news, and a big thanks to Alex and obviously Jeremy, who were our experts. So, guys, that's been the. I still haven't got a name for this. If anyone's got a good name for this show, please just email in or let me know. Please just let me know. I really want the Geek Show, Geek TV, Retro Faith TV, Retro TV. You know, there's so much it could do. Tiger Max, your Street Fighter character is Saga, isn't it? Yeah, definitely is. Tiger Knee. Guys, I've been Retro Faith. Thanks for watching. I'm going to pass you over to my good friend Pete. And if you missed this, I hope you've enjoyed catching up on it. And I'll see you all. I'll see you all soon, my friends. Goodbye.